Isekai Manga is saved. That may or may not be the title of this video. Now whether this Isekai Manga actually lives up to expectation or is an absolute flop, I'll let you guys decide that for yourselves. But I don't think any of us are strangers to the fact that, or well, if you have been watching anime long enough, that the amount of Isekai anime just keep growing every season. And that's just anime. The amount of manga, webcomics, manhwa, light novels, web novels that are being pumped out on a daily basis puts your average pump and dump crypto pyramid schemes to shame. Anything you can think of probably already exists as an isekai story, to the point that you get titles like this that pretty much sum up the entire story and make you question your existence but just how long they are. Like this. Alright, let me take a breather. Backstabbed in a backwater dungeon, my party tried to kill me, but thanks to an infinite gacha, I got level 9,999 friends. What incarnation? We got isekai about time loops, redemption, slimes, being cautious, chunibyo, villainous uncles, shields, gates, being a healer class, redoing things as a healer class, getting kicked out of a party, a goddamn vending machine, reincarnated as a hot spring, and my personal favorite, getting transported to a world where there are no males, and girls get instantly turned on simply by being near a man. I need to know what these Japanese authors are taking because they're cooking. And ironically, I know it's easy for longtime anime watchers to get tired of these, but I like to think at the end of the day that these overwritten isekai stories are someone's first anime or manga or light novel, for good or bad, and they wholeheartedly enjoyed it. I mean, the genre is popular for a reason, right? It's like that one saying, one man's garbage is another man's treasure. I mean, look at this guy. Dude's been making anime manga videos for years and he still finds isekai dumpster fires to enjoy somehow. And here I am, because for once, I'm happy, man, because the author wasn't just cooking, he exploded the whole damn kitchen. I honestly thought it would be a while where I pick up a new series in this genre and actually appreciate it for doing something new, trying something new. And yeah, this series did nothing short of that, but also somehow takes a bunch of these isekai tropes, mushes them, beats them together, and parodies it all into this one story that I couldn't stop reading. Something I did not expect from a generic looking cover like this. Not to mention a generic looking start with a generic looking MC in the first few pages that baits you completely into thinking, oh hey, this will be your everyday run of the mill, I got kicked out of the hero's party, and for the sake of revenge fantasy, I'll become edgy and overpowered and show them who's the real boss. The Sigma grind set and whatnot. Looks maxing? Pfft, isekai maxing is where it's at. But nope, give me a moment to convince you. Let's start at the beginning. It follows this guy Ed. If the Kito look wasn't obvious, he's the main character, bro's just being nonchalant, and the manga starting straight off the bat with his party members telling him, hey dude, you know what? We're gonna be real with you. We're homies, but you're kinda useless and dragging us down. You're kicked out of the party. And just like Ed's party members were like, what the heck? Utterly surprised because Ed's reaction isn't that of sadness, feeling betrayed. In fact, it's the other way around. He's so happy, filled with excitement, even cheering, with a system prompt appearing in only Ed's point of view, kind of like Sung Jin-woo from Solo Leveling.
Correct.
That system prompt saying the condition has been met. And this is where I realized, you know what? I might be reading something fresh and interesting for once. Because the story after that takes a completely different turn. It turns out Ed has a bunch of these hidden abilities, seemingly like a different dimension of storage, where he pulls out all these guides he made for his current party that kicked him out just now, as a way of even thanking them before he leaves. To which they're like, yo, did we just make a mistake kicking the secretly GigaChat Kirito looking person? And from here on is where we learn Ed's real backstory, as he gets transmigrated to the place that started everything for him. It turns out Ed's goal was to get kicked out of the party this whole time. In fact, this wasn't his first time, not even the second, or even the third, not even close. This was his 100th time. A long and painful journey that this mysteriously godly figure that we don't even know what he looks like, not even Ed knows what he looks like, has sent Ed on after summoning him to this strange place where there's basically nothing. Just two chairs and a book on this table, and a random door just standing there. Picking up the book to find instructions on how he can finally get back to his world. So let's get those requirements out of the way. His task is to go through a door, bond with and get accepted to the hero's party, and adventure with the hero of that world for at least half a year and then get kicked out. And every time with the countdown, he'll return to the place he has summoned. And next to the door he just got back from, a new door will appear, till he does this over and over again for 100 different worlds. Oh yeah, I almost forgot, he cannot revisit any of the doors he previously opened. And yes, you might be wondering, wouldn't he be over 100 years old then? How does he not age? Well, great question, my Padawan. Well, with each return, his age just resets along with his physique, whether he becomes a buff gym bro or pre-reincarnation Rudy from Mushoku Tensei. But he also gets a secret skill each time. And after his long and painful 100th journey, gaining a one-time special ability that I won't tell you about yet, just remember that he got one. And yeah, after being back from his 100th trip, also realizing the door back to his own world also finally spawned. At last, he's able to go home after all this time. Or not, because turns out the door is locked. For some reason, the god in the story is a huge troll. Aside from never really speaking to him directly, he doesn't even let him pass through the door. To communicate with him, he literally literally throws books at him, and this time also dropping a key, with instructions saying that he must use it to revisit one of the previous worlds he left behind, and only then once he returns the door back to his own world will open. And this moment right here, if you thought the premise was insane already, it just gets crazier from here. Feeling nostalgic, Ed just chooses the very first world he visited back when he was a newbie, and had to try really hard to join the hero's party, basically when he started from zero. In high hopes that it would be a breeze, opening the door, quickly checking out the world, which the hero's party that he was once a part of defeated the demon lord, and returning to take the door back to his own world. Or so he thought, because plot twist, walking through that door only to see the entire world in rubbles, destroyed and roaming around with the demon lord's army. The entire hero's team dead, except for one party member, this elf girl right here. Oh hey look, we got an elf girl. We have been blessed. She may or may not have been the reason that I started reading this story, because Tia here is best girl. But sadly, even then, Tia's fate ends up being tragic. The best girl title was in fact not enough to save her, which I'll let you guys find out for yourself. Let me just warn you, it gets quite emotional, and quite frankly, I did not expect it to hit as hard as it did. And Ed, despite being so desperate to go home after 100 years, finally reunite with his actual family. Remember how I said he got a one-time ability? Ka-chow! Using that one-time ability to grant him one miracle, one wish to start all the way from the beginning. A crazy premise, I know. Really makes you question if this mysterious god figure that never really presents itself knew that's what Ed would exactly do, or how simply the lack of Ed's presence in the world is what causes the hero's party's demise. Even if it's for the simplest of reasons, like being someone that just carries the party's items, literally being their luggage holder, which is ironic because this whole time his requirement was to try and get kicked out of those parties. And it's following Ed's second round in the story of how he manipulates and plans everything to make things right this time around. And yes, he's overpowered, but trust me when I tell you, it does not feel like a power fantasy at all. It feels more like a strategy story and trying to find the best possible option with a second chance, while enjoying the dynamic between party members with these strange and quirky characters that honestly I grew to love. And it feels like the story won't actually drag on. There's obviously a bigger mystery or narrative at play, since we barely know why Ed was summoned there in the first place, or why the god won't show himself to Ed. I feel like there's a bigger plot twist here that the author is cooking up, or maybe I'm just speculating too much. Anyways, I think just give this manga 6 or 7 chapters. I think that's when it really starts to pick up. But so far I like it. A solid example of the story making you think and ask so many questions. Oh, and also Elf Girl. But putting that aside, this man has some of the coldest panels in the story, and the art style really does it justice. Random bursts of color here and there. So if you are looking for a new isekai manga or story with a unique concept but also parodies a lot of tropes like overpowered MC, crazy fight scenes or panels, gates, getting kicked out of the party, or if you want a story that doesn't feel like it drags on, fun characters, nice mystery, nice elf girl, do try 追放されるたびにスキルを手に入れた俺が100の異世界で2周目 Musou, or I got a new skill every time I was exiled, and after 100 different worlds, I was unmatched. Classic isekai title. I also feel like the people that enjoyed this other isekai story, the Eminem and Shadow, would also really enjoy this story. And yeah, that's about it. As always, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys got a brand new isekai manga recommendation out of this, or just a manga in general. And I'm kind of hoping this gets an anime because it's a pretty unique concept that I feel like a lot of people would actually enjoy. My only complaint really is the updates for the manga can be quite slow. So if you are looking for something to binge, this might be a bit of a painful read, but trust me when I tell you it's worth it. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and if you're new here, hit subscribe for future anime and manga content. I got some bangers coming up, or at least I think so, and hopefully you guys think so as well. It'll be embarrassing if it isn't. Some really unique titles that I feel like deserve a lot more attention. But yeah, anyways, like and subscribe, bye bye, until next time, peace.